Live and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSG.
A mostly sunny good morning to you. I hope your day's going well for you, wherever you might be. Hey, not all that bad of a day out there. Hazy sun is what we're looking at. Again, still have quite a bit of smoke to handle, take care of in the upper atmosphere. We had quite a bit of it last week, but we really didn't see it because of all the cloud cover as we went through the weekend. Became a lot more noticeable, and yesterday that sun was eerily red for a lot of folks that took pictures of it and talked quite a bit about it. Again, the smoke is not from California, from that part of the continental United States. It appears as though it's a little bit more north up in Canada. That's what's going on there. It's not going to hold our temperatures back, that's for sure. We're currently at 76 degrees, and we're going to pick up about 10, 12 degrees more as we go through the afternoon. 77 right now here at Radio Center. Also downtown Midland, 77. Downtown Bay City is currently at 77. We have a west breeze at 6. Falling barometric pressure at 30.16. As we go through the week, the high pressure that is going to be dominating our weather is going to come from a little bit more of a source. As a result, we're going to see a lot more in the way of north and northeast breezes as we go through the remainder of this afternoon and into the nighttime hours. We're going to see a little bit more of a westerly breeze as that high drops into and around Iowa, but then it's going to resume with more of a north and a northeastern quadrant as we go into the day on Wednesday. As a result, we're going to see some clearing taking place. First and foremost, we've got a series of low-pressure systems that are running along the Canadian border with the United States. We're not getting those lows from the same area that we saw, a week or so ago when we were getting hit by all sorts of heavy rains like they did again late in the work week last week down in the Detroit area. These lows are going to be tracking along the border and cutting across the straits, moving right straight into eastern Ontario province and eventually into Quebec. And what's going to be happening, not so much today, but tomorrow, that trailing cold front from the low pressure system moving into Canada is going to drop down through the state. As a result, we will see a chance, but not a great chance. We'll see a chance of some widely scattered shower activity later in the day tomorrow night, as isolated little cells are going to be tracking across the lower peninsula. That front is going to settle all the way down into Indiana and Ohio as we go into late Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning. As a result, we're going to see a little bit more in the way of sunshine with a northeast breeze on Wednesday. So today's high 88, tomorrow's high 86, 77 for a high on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we'll work our way back into the 80s once again. Low 80s for Thursday and Friday, and then the middle 80s as we move into the work week. So a little bit of a break. Lows coming at us from a different direction. And as a result, things aren't going to be quite as tumultuous as what we saw as far as storm activity and heavy downpours of rain in selected spots. Low tonight of 66 with clear skies. Sun will set this evening at 9:12, rise tomorrow morning at 6:14. And then tomorrow, as we said, 86 for a high, 60 for a low. System dropping down through the lower peninsula, moving through the afternoon hours tomorrow, but clearing out late tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Sunshine with a northeast breeze on Wednesday, 77 for a high, 62 for a low. And then, as I said, moving into the tail end of the work week, we'll once again be back at the 80s. 82 is what's average for this time of the year in the afternoon, 61 at night, record high 98. Set back in 1935, the record low 43, set way back in 1912. And a year ago today, our high was 82, our low was 68. We picked up over an inch of rain a year ago today at MBS International, just under an inch and a tenth. Some locations picking up more than 2.5 inches of rain a year ago today. But fortunately for us, that's not the case this year. Long-range outlook to take us all the way through August the 1st, if you can believe that, August the 1st. Average to a little bit above average as far as the temperatures go, slightly below normal to average as far as the precipitation is concerned. That's a look at the weather. When we return, Cody Harris will be joining us from Star of the West in Frankenmuth. But before we get to all of that, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Kryzak's House Family Restaurant. If you got to plan an event coming up where you need to supply the food, it's real simple. 989-894-5531. You pick it up the morning of your event or the afternoon of your event, take it there. You're a hero. Kryzak's House. Also a great place to dine in. Corner of Cass in Michigan on Bay City's south side. We say good morning to Cody Harris. Cody, after a very interesting week last week with the markets holding their own, how are we starting off so far this morning?
Well, good morning, Terry. We got definitely a little bit of a mixed bag here today. Definitely this weather that we're kind of seeing, the droughts kind of in the Canadian prairies and over in, our prairie country out west is definitely affecting these markets. But we got definitely a mixed bag. We got wheat kind of up a little bit here, and then ever since the 9:30 open, we kind of saw corn and soybeans kind of turn for the worst. Looking at our markets right now, we got cash and new crop wheat. That's up 5, 663 on the white, 628 on the red. Looking over at corn, cash corn is down 5 at 611. New crop corn is down 5 as well at 497. Then looking over at soybeans, cash soybeans are down 20 at $14 even, and new crop soybeans are down 16 at $13.11.
Anything that really jumps out at you that's making the markets do what they're doing right now, Cody?
Well, like I said, the big driver right now is definitely the weather, especially in the wheat side of things. We're looking at that dry weather out west, and that's really hurting that spring wheat crop that we got out west. Everyone I've been kind of talking to today keeps kind of slashing their yield reports and their ending stocks report just based on this weather. Wheat crop's definitely getting hit hard out there, and you're kind of seeing the strength of that here today as it's the only one in the green. Then in addition to that, some news I saw come across my desk this morning, kind of adding to that bullish U.S. supply. We have concerns of falling Russian and European Union wheat production levels. They have a lot of hot and dry weather going on over there, part of the Russian spring wheat belt. And then kind of the opposite, they have excess rain and flooding in parts of Germany and France in the midst of their wheat harvest, and that's raising a lot of concerns in the wheat arena. But then kind of as far as corn and soybeans, right now for corn, like I said, this week and kind of in the next week, that's when most of the corn's going to be pollinating. I think you're seeing a lot of traders maybe take a step back from the market to see how that kind of comes through pollination. Weather looks somewhat decent, especially on the eastern side of the corn belt. Western side of the corn belt might be a little dry, so that might be something to keep an eye on as we move forward. And then as far as soybeans kind of, I guess on a bearish note for soybeans, kind of why they flipped a little bit. It seemed right now that, OPEC right now has decided to really bump up their production. That's definitely pressuring the world veg oil markets and soybean oil. So they're definitely taking a step back as they're trying to analyze what that market's going to do for soybeans. But other than that, Terry, I'm just glad it's not raining here today, like you were saying earlier.
Boy, you got that right. Cody, you take care. Have a great day, okay?
You as well, Terry. Thank you.
Will do. A little bit more as far as what the markets are doing. Over to Oppenheimer, we go with Doug Klein. The market report brought to you by Schaefer and Beerline. Hey, commercial truck and van, a Ram commercial truck and van, get it from a dealer that's been around since 1852. Schaefer and Beerline and Frankenmuth knows trucks and vans, so buy with confidence from a dealer where family and service sells cars. They are the Great Lakes Bay Area's certified ag dealer. That's Schaefer and Beerline. Also by Ed Raymond and Sons, quality clothing and shoes since 1919. Carhartt's, Red Wing shoes and boots, Stormy, Cromer accessories, all available today at Ed Raymond and Sons, 151 West Broad Street in Chesaning. They are open 7 days. Morning, Doug.
Good morning.
What do we got now?
Well, a little bit rough in the energy markets. Wasn't good for us. I mean, crude oil's down $4.67, so it's setting at 67. So that should flow through to the pumps sometime in the next week or 2 or 3 or 4, whenever they get around to adjusting those. A little bit of money coming out of precious metals, a couple percent across the board. Gold's down 0.5%, but silver and platinum down 2%. A lot of money coming out of the stock market, a little nervous about COVID and that. And I saw that the lumber contract's at $532 per 1,000 board feet. So that's down a few more bucks today. And I thought about this, if the big box companies, are stuck on some very expensive lumber, you might be better off looking at some of your smaller lumber yards, if there are any left, and seeing what they've got. You might be able to beat the big box stores on price, because they might be a little more flexible on adjusting their prices short term. So who knows, whatever happens. Here's your numbers, though. The September corn is $5.50 1/4, down 5 3/4. December corn $5.46 1/2, down 5 1/2. The August soybeans $14.33 3/4, down 21 cents. November soybeans $13.75, down 16 3/4. September wheat is $6.96 1/4, up 3 3/4, and December wheat $7.05, up 5 1/4. The crude oil is $66.93, down $4.88 a barrel. The heating oil is $199.93, down 11 1/2 cents. Gasoline $2.12.40, that's down 13 cents. Natural gas is $3.71, that's up 5 1/4 cents. Canadian dollar, this is really getting hammered. The U.S. dollar is getting you $1.2767 Canadian at the border. That's up 156 ticks. The yen is at 109.54. That's down 54 ticks. The euro is at 117.98, down 7 ticks. The dollar's at 92.85, up 16.5 ticks. Gold's at 1806.80, down $8.30. Silver's at 25.22, down 55 1/4 cents. Platinum's at 10.80. That's down 27 bucks.
Doug, you have a great day.
Thanks. Yep, you too.
Talk to you later. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Let's take a little trip out west right now. Doug Ruppel is joining me this morning with Hilleshog. Doug, where are you exactly?
Well, good morning, Terry. I am currently out in Longmont, Colorado at our seed plant facility that we have here, and getting ready to go on the Western Sugar official variety tour.
I bet I know that's really interesting, but I bet some of those varieties have really helped producers so far this year here in Michigan, because for the most part, our sugar beet crop really looks nice right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. We have probably one of the better looking crops that I've seen overall this year in the Red River Valley, the Western Sugar area. Michigan's got a good looking crop, and our commercial varieties like 9865, 2238 NT are looking good commercially out in the fields. And of course, this time of year, you find yourself going to the official variety trials, and we got a couple new ones that are going to be on deck this fall, and that's Hill 2332 NT and Hill 2361. They're looking really good in the official trials.
Now, what makes them special, Doug?
Well, just increased breeding activity for the traits that are needed, Terry. We always try to maintain our disease traits, but we always try to improve every generation of varieties that come out. And in this case, these varieties are looking a little bit heavier than past varieties.
So at this stage of the game, producers can ask their Hilleshog agent, or you in particular, about some of these varieties, because as you said, they are going to be available to growers so they can book their seed coming up this fall?
Yep. As soon as we get the official variety trial data out this fall, we should be able to book these varieties for the 2022 growing season.
Let's talk a little bit about the 2021 season so far. You mentioned that everything is really looking good so far. What should producers be looking at right now as they scout their fields, Doug?
Well, they gotta stay on top of their Cercospora with the heat coming in again. Most growers are anywhere from their first to their third spray for Cercospora control. We're seeing some Rhizoctonia popping up here and there, but there's really nothing you can do for that this time of year. Always plant good genetics to start with, but for the most part, Cercospora is the one that we got to stay up on between the heat and the humidity and the occasional rains that we get. When we get them, we just got to stay on top of that one, and we should be off for a good start. I think they're taking their first set of pre-harvest samples in Michigan this week, so we'll get an idea on where the crop is.
Now, any idea when the harvest is going to start?
I don't think they've set a date, but I'm sure with the way the crop looks, it'll be an August date. And there's other areas like Amalgamated Sugar out in Idaho. You know, they're talking about starting in August as well. They're not saying it's a record crop, but it's a really good crop. But they are concerned about all the smoke, and they are starting to get some ash and stuff laying on the leaves. So they might have some sugar issues to deal with.
Good information. Doug, drive carefully. Hopefully we'll see you soon back here in Michigan, and we'll chit-chat a little bit more. All righty?
Thanks, Terry. Have a great day.
I will. You too. Doug Ruppel with Hilleshog.
It's time to think about your pig. You know, the propane tank in your backyard that heats your home? Well, there's no better company to fill your pig than Forward Energy, covering 23 counties. Forward Energy is a family-owned and operated propane supplier that's been fueling area homes, farms, and businesses since 1925. Fill your pig this year. Visit forwardenergy.com to find out about new customer pricing and programs.
Go forward with Forward Energy.
Are you upset with your current planter performance? Are you considering buying a new planter but blown away from sticker shock? With Precision Planting's VSET, V-Drive, and Delta Force, we can retrofit your old planter to outperform any new planter on the market. Then access all your data from planting to harvest easily with Field View. Call PC Ag Solutions today and get your parts ordered, installed, and ready to go for the upcoming growing season. 989-868-4444. PC Ag Solutions. Along with us right now, Alex Wilson with Yo and Yo Accounting. Alex, good morning. How are you this morning?
Not too bad. How are you, Terry?
It's a busy day. Lots of things to talk about. And I just happened to take a look and see that you and I want to talk a little bit about this employee retention credit program. What's going on with that?
Well, it's something that has come to the forefront a little bit based on another government program that came out originally back in March of 2020 when the PPP loan or Payroll Protection Program loans had come out. There was guidance that said you could, if you had a PPP loan, you were ineligible for this employee retention credit. In late December of 2020, the IRS came out with guidance and law that you could, in fact, qualify for both programs, which is taken through, the employee retention credit is taken through a payroll tax credit. For farmers who are typically file their payroll returns on a 943, which is annual, there's an added step in looking to apply for these credits, but the credits, assuming the taxpayer is eligible for them, for periods in 2020, the credit could be upwards of $5,000 per employee for the year. And in 2021, if the taxpayer is eligible for this credit, you could be looking at something more like $7,000 per quarter per employee. Now, there are some limitations as to who qualifies, and most of it's based on revenues 1 year in 2021 versus the same quarter in 2019. They take 2020 out of it because of everything that happened with the pandemic. but farmers are in an unusual spot because of timing of crop payments being received and the ability to defer payments to when they fully need them. They could have subjected themselves to qualifying and not know it. So these are credits that can get up there in a hurry that people should be on the lookout for.
Good advice. Alex Wilson, thank you very much. We'll be sure that farmers do pay attention, because it could mean quite a bit of money, couldn't it?
We've had clients of ours that have been in the six-figure range in terms of these credits. So, and that's no small amount of money.
No, it isn't. Alex Wilson, take care. We'll talk to you again.
Thank you so much.
Alex Wilson with Yo and Yo Accounting.
For 33 years, the Bader family has been proud to be your local John Deere dealer. Starting in central Michigan and growing to 10 stores from southeast Michigan to the bridge, we are happy to announce the transition to another great organization. Going forward, Hudson Inc. will continue to provide the John Deere experience you can rely on for parts, service, and sales. The Bader family thanks you for all your business and wishes Hudson Inc. the very best.
On with me, Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Jerry, what should we be looking at right now?
Terry, hopefully we're not looking at weeds, but if you're looking at weeds, you should be getting on top of them. Within the next month or so, if we keep our weeding down and under control, usually about middle of August, end of August, weeds kind of know that, I don't have enough time to really germinate and get started, and so maybe I'll just wait till next year. Of course, weeds think, right? So typically the weed germination really slows down in the fall. So if you can get it under control in the next couple of weeks, you'll doing great. You'll be in great shape, and they won't produce that crop of seeds for next year. So your pre-emergence help, but boy, you don't want to have to rely on them. So keeping your weeds under control now is important. Like you mow your lawn once a week, you should check your beds out at least every other week. If not every week, just go by and pluck the few weeds you see. You'd be a lot better off.
Good advice. Jerry, thank you. We'll talk to you again. Jerry Reif now joining me with the Reif Insurance, or I should say the legal group, Jerry Reif. Jerry, good morning. What should our farmers be aware of right now?
Well, there's a lot. I get a lot of the magazines and different news magazines, literature that most of our farm clients receive. There's a lot of noise in there about possible changes coming out of Washington, maybe Michigan, Lansing, but definitely Washington, and they're right. They should be aware of that. What I find, though, is that the current tax law that we have as far as estate taxes and everything is going to expire in 3-4 years anyway, 2025, so there's going to have to be something done. So to be ready is a key thing. Most of my clients have already taken those actions. A lot of the rumors coming out of Washington are that there could be changes retroactive to April. Well, it means if you're going to live by the current law before it's been changed, you should have done it already. Well, that's over the water. I mean, that's gone. So what you want to do is look at getting some basics. Powers of attorney medical, very important. Power of attorney financial property one, that's very, very important. And a will, at least a will. Have your own documents in place and don't rely on what's in legislation somewhere that with people you don't know. So you want to be proactive about it. Get something in place. We recommend a whole lot more usually, but it depends on the situation. So if you're not sure, check with your legal advisors, your financial advisors, and check, because there are a lot of current laws and everything. And if you really pay attention and be proactive, you can actually save a lot of your legacy, your estate, your income. But just be proactive about it. Don't let the chips fall and all of a sudden you're just vulnerable to them.
There you go.
Don't let it happen.
All right, Jerry Reif. We now conclude our program with our national anthem.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Rocket Mortgage.
I'm Steve Kathan. COVID cases go up, the markets go down. The Dow is off more than 725 points, down about 2% on the day.